This week on the WriterCon podcast,
writing groups. Get into a writing group, maybe multiple.
Welcome to WriterCon, a gathering place for writers to share their knowledge about writing and the writing world. Your hosts are William Bernhardt, best-selling novelist and author of the Red Sneaker books on writing, and Lara Bernhardt, award-winning author of the Wantland Files book series.
Thank you, Jesse Ulrich. Hey there, writers. Thanks for joining us today. It's August now, first podcast of the month, so of course, you know we're going to talk about WriterCon, the annual writers conference we host this year at the Skirvin Hilton in Oklahoma City over Labor Day weekend. See, Jesse's already ready to go.
I'm excited. I like that hotel.
It's Friday, August 20. Well, it's both historic and haunted.
So yeah,
I want the haunted room.
Perfect hotel. Yeah. You guys have probably already heard me talk about having over 60 speakers coming and over 100 sessions of this and that and the other thing, and pitching and contests, manuscript reviews, private consultations, etc. But you know what the coolest thing is? The best thing about all this is that it really is a genuine community of writers. It's like people eager to help, people who have your back and they understand the challenges of being a writer in today's world. I think people are often surprised by how warm and welcoming the group is and how many friends they make and may keep after the conference is over. I don't know. Lara, have you made any friends at WriterCon?
Yes, absolutely. I met a couple of new people just last year that I'm still in touch with and that I've gone to have coffee with and have gone to see some Shakespeare with. But honestly, it kind of feels more like a family reunion to me when we meet up. I feel very close to most of the people who come to our conferences.
Jesse, you, of course, are so standoffish that that's just a joke. Do you have a WriterCon personal experience that stands out in memory?
Like one individual one. I mean, mostly I do enjoy the karaoke night. That's always fun to see. So
I guess we're going to have to do it again. We've been debating it, but you may have just ended the debate.
Listen, I just like to watch. So, you know, I did. I have participated in the past.
Girls just want to have fun.
That was a memory. I had met those people that night 20 minutes earlier. So like
it's a friendly conference.
Yeah, that's a great WriterCon. These people who I had not met before, we were just sitting at the same table and we just instantly bonded over like what songs we would do at karaoke. And then one of them happened. So
that's
you meet
awesome.
new people all the time.
I'll tell you right now, in the app, there's a current debate about which song we will duet, Bill.
Ooh, we have been duetting the last several years, haven't we? Last year it was that number from Greece, You're the One That I Want.
You're the One That I Want.
Before that, I Got You, Babe.
Yeah. And
I
before
sang
that,
like
it
Sonny
was
Bono, which came very naturally, actually.
And then it was Summer Lovin'.
Yeah, we like that Grease.
I think it'd be funny just to do I Got You, Babe over and over and over again every year. So that's very apropos. So
throw things at us.
Yeah.
Okay, people, we can't decide what song we should do this year, so put it in the comments. What do you think we should, Lara and I should sing at WriterCon this year, okay?
Important stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, and the website is writercon.com. Our interview today is with Abigail O'Bryan. She's a breakout fantasy author who, not coincidentally, is speaking at WriterCon this year. She has recently released her first novel called Iron Rose. It's a dark, young adult reimagining of Beauty and the Beast with some Hunger Games mixed in there. It's getting rave reviews. We will talk to her about the book, her writing, how she got published. But first, the news. News story number one. Grassley introduces AI Whistleblower Protection Act. I put this in because I felt we didn't talk about AI at all on the last episode, so here we are again. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa, introduced this AI Whistleblower Protection Act. The idea is to provide explicit protections to whistleblowers, to those developing and using AI. So right now, people could be punished, they could be subject to NDAs, and all of that creates a chilling effect on the industry. So here, we're going to deal with AI in a different way through potential whistleblowing. Jesse, you're the only one here I think is qualified to speak about this.
Okay.
And you've probably used AI more than Lara, so at least I'll start with you. Do you think this is a good idea?
Of course it is. I mean, I wish they would. It's one of those things where, yes, we should, of course, protect whistleblowers. But the one thing America does not have that other Western democracies have is actual privacy protections written into their laws. We need to protect ourselves from all of our stuff being used that then companies then want to charge us for, trained off the things we've already done. We should be able to control what of ours is on the internet. I know this relates to another story we're about to do, but yeah, whistleblowers should always be protected.
You read ahead.
Always. I know. I did. Yeah, of course this is a good idea. And listen, props to Chuck Grassley, who's not of an age to really think about AI that much. I'm glad someone on his staff is like, we should protect these people who could be getting misinformation. We don't know what these companies are doing. Yeah. I don't want to be the anti corporation guy, but yikes.
Yeah. Lara, feel the same way?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I thought as much.
I don't use AI. I've caught a couple of students using AI on papers and don't appreciate that. But most of all, I know a lot of writers whose work is being skimmed and used, and they're not happy about it. And I do think that protections are paramount.
All right.
And I have a cat here. Sorry.
Well, lucky you.
Bumping against my computer.
Do we need to take a break so you can boot him out?
It's her. No.
Oh, okay.
She's looking at birds. I can't blame her. Yeah, she can stay.
Yeah. You can edit the cat stuff out later.
Listen,
Jesse.
That's what the people want. They want the cats.
If I thought she'd cooperate, I'd pick her up and show her off. She's just the most darling, beautiful little thing. My little lady Winifred, but she's off looking at cats now. Birds.
And news story number 2. Here's one you maybe didn't see coming. You may be able to copyright your own face. Why? And who's ever even thought about that before? Anyway, as Jesse said, this is about AI, which, as you probably heard, has made it possible for about anybody with some computer skills to make a super realistic clone of you doing or saying whatever. It's what they call a deep fake. Denmark, the country of Denmark, however, has a new solution that nobody else has tried before, and that is giving everyone the right to copyright their own face and voice. And then they brand a little C with a circle around it on your forehead. No, they don't have to do that. You just the copyright symbol.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Anyway, you don't have to do that, but you can copyright your face and your voice. This is a pioneering idea, but the idea, of course, is to give people more control over their likeness by expanding it into the realm of copyright law. Control your own body in a whole different way. And it's first of its kind in Europe. Okay, Lara, your face should be copyrighted just because it's so gorgeous. But do you think this Denmark law is a good idea?
I like anything that stops exploitation. I just don't like to see anyone exploited. So I'm intrigued. I would like for us to follow this and see how it works for Denmark. Although I can't imagine we could make it happen here right now. But I'm interested with it. Yeah.
Jesse, what do you think? I'm guessing you're not totally. I mean, some deep fakes could be harmless if it's done in fun at a Star Trek convention.
I mean, I do love the Star Trek deepfakes for sure, but if losing those is the cost of making sure that we, both citizens, politicians, leaders, aren't deepfaked and we have a legal mechanism for stopping those, I'm 100% on board for that. So,
fun is subjective.
That's true.
One person thinks is fun, somebody else could find offensive or anyone might be bothered if their image is being used in a way that they don't approve of or weren't in on. That feels very intrusive.
I mean, I doubt either of you watched the one South Park episode they released for their newest season that involved some deepfakes of our president, and it was incredibly
au contraire.
Okay, good. Delightful. I don't want that to be out loud, but my face, yes.
Don't run for office.
Yeah, don't worry.
Don't run for office. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Craft Corner. Because this time around, we've got a return visit from friend of the podcast, Betsy Kulikowski, author of the best-selling Veritas Codex series. And she's also got a new book out called The Veil of Secrets. Today she addresses, and I believe me, you won't believe me, but just to be clear, I did not tell her to address this subject, but the timing is perfect. She's talking about the gigantic benefit of it to writers of attending writing conferences. So take it away, Betsy.
Craft Corner.
Hey, WriterCon family. It's Betsy Kulikowski, best-selling author of the Veritas Codex paranormal thriller series. And if you're a writer, whether you're just getting started or you have a slew of books on the shelf, the one investment in your career as a writer that pays off consistently is attending writers' conferences. And for me, WriterCon is the best, and here's why. It's where I got my start, and it can help you too. Writing can be a very solitary pursuit. It's easy to doubt yourself when you don't have any kind of feedback, when you don't have an audience, and you don't have a path to publication. I had at least a dozen manuscripts sitting by in a folder and had no path to get them published, no idea what to do with them or if they were even any good, until I started attending writers' conferences. The first one I attended was the Rose State Writers Conference, which later became the Red Sneaker Writers Conference, which later became WriterCon. And now it is the one conference that is on my agenda every year, every Labor Day weekend. Don't ask me to go to the lake. I will be at WriterCon every year without fail. I got my start there because that's where I found my tribe. I met other writers, I met industry professionals, and I learned the lessons that were offered. And I became a better writer as a result. And because of that, I found my publisher and I got my books published and I got started as a professional writer. And now I'm doing it full time. I've retired from the day job and I'm writing all the time, new books coming out right and left. And that's why you should come to WriterCon, because you find your tribe. And you can't do this alone. And there are people there who will help you. So I hope that I will see you this year, Labor Day weekend at WriterCon. And if not this conference, maybe I'll see you at another conference down the road. But every year I will be at WriterCon, and I hope you will be too.
Thank you so much, Betsy. Now let's talk to Abigail O'Bryan. Abigail O'Bryan, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Okay, we always ask the same first question. If you could offer writers one piece of advice, what would it be?
Writing groups. Get into a writing group, maybe multiple. I feel like positive peer pressure has been absolutely invaluable. And then you never know with networking, like, who's going to be the first person to make a connection that's going to be helpful to you in the future? Or maybe these people are going to be your critique partners. Maybe they're just going to be cheerleaders for you. Right. And obviously you're doing that for them too. But
Right.
Writing groups.
The perfect
Essential.
answer to give when we're talking about WriterCon, which you are, of course, coming to. Mm-hmm. And we're less than a month away. Remind everyone, what are you going to be doing at WriterCon?
I am going to be teaching a couple courses. So marketing for introverts on the business side of things.
Would be like everyone who ever thought to write a book.
Right? I remember having the thought whenever I was creating this course, that like gone are the Austinian days where you get to be anonymous and slide a manuscript under a publisher's door and then disappear. Like that's just not how it goes anymore. But I think a lot of us wish that.
Of course, in those days, you also would have been paid peanuts and wouldn't have been able to sign your own contracts. So there's some give and take there.
And like if you were a woman, maybe it wouldn't go so well either. So, there are a lot of ways where the modern world is better. But the unfortunate truth is that even introverts have to market.
Yeah. Okay, marketing for introverts.
It'll help with that.
And I think I cut you off. Was there something else?
Yes. And then so 2 other courses, more on the writing side. So thrilling action scenes that make sense. Even though my novel is primarily a Beauty and the Beast retelling, it has gotten recognition both nationally and internationally for its action. And so I am bringing that expertise in and really laying out not formulas, but more of a framework for how to make really clear, engaging action, regardless of the genre of your book. And then the last class that I'm doing is using nature to create monsters and magic. And I mean, I'm so excited about this one. Nature is so weird. And I feel like this is just going to help give the tools that you need to be able to do your own research and figure out how to extrapolate these natural phenomena to be able to make just weird and impactful monsters and magic systems. I think that one is just going to be a load of fun.
Oh, that sounds. I just
added that one to my agenda.
Yeah. You do that on the app I'm coming thing. Yes. I don't really understand it, but it's a cool app. Sound like great classes. So tell us, how'd you get started writing?
Well,
was it something you always wanted to do? Or go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was a reader, which I think is a lot of people's answers.
I would imagine. Somebody who wants to be a writer but doesn't read, forget it. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. So that's where it all started for me. And I think what really cemented it in for me is just learning that I am not particularly good at anything where you're supposed to come to a specific answer. And I was pretty good at anything where I could like extrapolate and synthesize and be able to like explain why this was my take. So geometry, not so much for me. Language arts was a yes. So I just kind of leaned in hard to the things that I actually was good at. And I found that a lot of the stuff that I was writing for myself primarily, my classmates were really enjoying. And so I began to do that a little bit more seriously. And then I found a story that I was really invested in, and that is Iron Rose. So that has actually, that's the story that made me decide, like, this is the career that I want to have. Yeah. This is what I want to pursue educationally. And here we are today.
Yeah. And that's your debut novel, which you managed to not only write, but sell while I think you're married. You've got 2 children. I think you're also house shopping. How do you find time to write?
I think, well, in a lot of ways, I'm still learning how to do that. I have had to put into the fires this idea that there's just going to be one system and one rhythm that works for me.
Right.
And maybe it's different for different people. I certainly know people who like faithfully wake up at like 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of them. If I wake up at 5 a.m, I'm a basket case all day. That's not when I'm going to start being creative. But no, I think the reality is that I write at writing group, and I try to set aside times for myself, but also I acknowledge that there are months where I don't write because I am doing other things. So for instance, leading up to this conference, there's a number of things that I need to get done. And I know that my creative bucket gets poured out with marketing, with like tidying classes, that kind of stuff. And so I know now that I need to not pressure myself to be writing creatively while I have those other things going on. And so once like after WriterCon, that the fall is set aside for me to be writing.
Okay. Well, let's talk about this debut novel, Iron Rose. You mentioned, and this is in the PR too, that it's sort of a Beauty and the Beast retelling with maybe a little Hunger Games mixed in. Tell us about it.
Yeah, there you go. Beauty and the Beast meets Hunger Games. So
Both
it
winners,
is a standalone. Yeah, it's a standalone. So you get closure. There's no spice, but there's swoony romance. Really deep characters. I feel like the love story is really meaningful and real. I've also had a number of people reach out saying that they really relate to this main female character who has to be strong for other people and really give up a lot of herself in order to protect the people and the things that she loves, and just the exhaustion that she carries, which I'm someone who writes happy endings, so you can know that
nothing wrong with that.
It's gonna end hopefully, but ultimately it's a book about hope. And so if you need something that has short, punchy chapters with action that pulls you through, with romance, maybe something that you can read with your spouse, like this is, I've had men and women really enjoy this book. But if ultimately you need something right now that is going to affirm that even when the world and people are very broken and hurting, that there is hope and there's real goodness, this might be the book for you.
Well, speaking of your PR materials, they also mentioned that you are a big fan of Anglo-Saxon poetry. I'm not sure I've ever heard that from anyone.
That hasn't come up before.
What?
Or maybe outside of the podcast either. So I'm very intrigued. Tell me about that. Is that's something that is true, and how did that come about?
So this makes me laugh because in my I believe this was my freshman year, I was like gung-ho, freshman year of college. I had decided like, okay, Iron Rose is really worth like doing well. I'm gonna go to college for a creative writing degree, and I'm gonna figure out how to like just do it. And I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it published. And then I find out that 50% of my coursework is poetry. And I was incensed. And
that's just part of the degree plan of that creative
that university. Yep. And so I hope not too precociously, but like I really have to know why I'm learning something in order to engage with it.
Typical.
I asked my professor just like in the middle of class, this was not private. I was like, so why are we doing poetry when like basically the entire class was there to write stories? And she was like, poetry is the art of expressing with beauty a whole concept in a very short amount of words. Do you think that would be valuable for you as a prose writer? And of course I was like,
nice.
I'll sit down, get my pen out. Let's get to work. And so it was through that course that I encountered Anglo-Saxon poetry. And the thing that I love about it is that it doesn't have end rhymes. That's not where the poetry comes from. The poetry comes from alliteration. And so this is something that like no one is going to notice this. No one except for me. But the beast character, he has a curse that like has made him beastly in form, but also it is actively like trying to take over his mind. And whenever the animal, which is what I call that, whenever the animal takes over, I actually do Anglo-Saxon, like a lot of alliteration, because for me, when I was writing it, I was tapping into Grendel.
Mm-hmm. Okay, tell me that your beast wasn't cursed because he was rude to a lady at the door when he was 4. Okay, because that never seemed right to me.
Thank you. Thank
harsh.
you. That's where the whole story started. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. I have gotten a lot of, I guess the most common feedback that I get on this book is like, this is Beauty and the Beast. And also it's unlike any Beauty and the Beast retelling I've ever read before. And I think the reason for that is that I took the questions that I had about the fairy tale, like, you know, if you're looking at like the Disney movie, I've read the other ones too, obviously. But like, if you look at the Disney movie, and you do the math based off of the songs and the outfit changes and the rows and all that kind of stuff. The enchantress curses a 5th grader for not letting her in, which seems evil. And so that was a total shift for me because I'm like, that means that the beast character doesn't deserve to be cursed. It means that the enchantress had some ulterior motive. What happens when the monarchy disappears and someone with that kind of power and that kind of malice is left? And then for the Belle character, my question is like, okay, if that's the environment she's growing up in, what kind of person is she? Especially because she needs to be someone who can be in the same room as a beast and then fall in love with them reasonably. And so that's where the entirety of Iron Rose was born from, was like, nice. I love this fairy tale. And I just wanted to reach into the holes and pull out a story that had a cohesive and satisfying narrative.
You made it better. It's an update, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you hope for.
I'm intrigued. I think I'm going to have to read this one.
Great.
I've read that you live in the shadow of the Wasatch Range. And where is that?
Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. We've flown through there.
It's worth a stop. Truly, the mountains are gorgeous.
Cool.
Yeah. Been there, but not in a while. What's a normal writing day look like for you, Abigail? Now, I realize you don't always write, but when you are writing, what's the day look like?
I tend not to do like full writing days unless I'm at a writing retreat, which I try to do a couple times a year. I know some people, like my husband, for instance, he can sit down and be like, 8 hours and then just like go. That's not how I function. What I tend to do is a cycle of like I'll listen to music that feels in tune with what I'm trying to figure out. I'll pre-write a scene, and sometimes that's on my phone. If I'm feeling distracted and fidgety, I will write on my phone because I already want to pick it up. And then that way I'm getting something down. And whenever I'm writing on my phone or writing on a piece of paper, there are just some inhibitions that aren't there for me, like they are whenever I'm sitting at a computer. So I will usually pre-write something like that. And then I will go in and actually write the scene. Now, I don't write linearly. I haven't heard a method for this. I mean, quilting has been thrown out there. But basically, I tend to start in the middle because I know people are like, oh no, like the mucky middle. It's like all, I don't know, just like hard to figure out. But for me, I love the middle. The middle is like where all of the sweetness happens for me. And so I start there and then I sort of bleed out and figure out like, well, in order for this to be impactful, it means that it has to be going in this direction. So the ending needs to be kind of like this. And then in order for this to be important, then it means that it needs to be set up in the beginning. And so it's kind of chaos. I would love to say that it's not chaos. But that's how I end up writing. And basically I'm accompanied by a lot of coffee. And
coffee's good.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't like getting up early in the morning.
Well, we're talking about your process. Like, how do you approach a new project? So when you're actually writing, you start in the middle, you work your way out. Do you have it mapped out already? Have you outlined things, or are you more of like just kind of write it as you go?
I guess I'm kind of a write it as I go. I am neither a plotter nor a pantser, which
wait, there's a third category
to no end. Man, this is the story of my life. It's like the Venn diagram is like, here's one circle of like what is generally accepted and known. Here's the other circle. And I'm like, hold on, raising my hand. Is there an in-between? Because I'm not in either. But yeah, there are keystone scenes. Currently, I'm doing fairy tale retellings. And so what I start with is that same kind of process that I was talking about with Iron Rose, which is like, what are the things that I think are essential to the story that have to stay? And what are the things that I feel like need to go? And with fairy tales, a lot of it is like, hey, that's super problematic. So for instance,
yes.
I am currently working on a gender bent Sleeping Beauty retelling where there's a cursed king and a thread witch. And the like gender bent came in very early on because I was like, you know what's super problematic? Men thinking that they can kiss women when they're asleep. We're just not going to do that.
In the case of Snow White, but whatever.
Right. There's just all sorts of weirdness with that. And so obviously I want to I'm still making sure that it is consensual, but making sure that we're just not going to perpetuate some of those things. So I isolate what those things are where I'm like, well, these things have to change.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of stuff that I get to play with, like the whole magic system is based off of threads and spindles, because I thought that would be a fun way to nod to the fairy tale while expanding on stuff that just really isn't touched on.
So is that what we should expect to see from you next?
Yes, God willing.
But it's work in progress, right?
Yes. I will say many people have many projects at one time. I just hold one little flame in my hand at a time and I carry it until I can find a torch for it. And then I let it go and then I go find another little flame. But I don't carry multiple at a time. My brain just doesn't switch back and forth.
Although you have a family, so it must a little, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Actually, whenever you said writing day, and I was like, I don't do 8 hours, I was also thinking well, part of my writing process is really just getting interrupted a lot, which makes it difficult to get into a flow. So I don't recommend it, but it is part of my writing day.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have to wrap this up, unfortunately, but it's been a pleasure. And thank you. And I look forward to seeing you in very short time at WriterCon.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just a few parting words. WriterCon, August 29 to September 1, Oklahoma City at the historic and haunted Skirvin Hilton. Lara and I will be there, Jesse will be there, Abigail will be there, and about 60 other writers and agents and publishers and people connected to the publishing industry. You can review the schedule on our website. It's writercon.com. Is this the year?
Baxter won't be there. He's very upset about it.
Is this the year you take writing from something you think about in your spare time to something you actually do regularly and successfully? If so, think about joining us at WriterCon. All right? Until next time, keep writing. And remember, you cannot fail if you refuse to quit. See you next time.